Flaming cliffs aircraft are very fun to fly, but can you use a force feedback base when flying them? Hey guys, Emils here, and in this video we will test how a couple of Flaming Cliffs aircraft perform with the Moza AB9 base. Alright, let's get into it. So we are in the MiG-29 now. We're going to be testing out the FC3 aircraft, so we're going to start off with the MiG-29 and I think we're going to move to probably the A-10 or F-15, depends. And let's just try this out, so let's go for a takeoff. Let's get off the ground. No current feedback here. Now there's a little vibration here when we put up the gear. We can do the same for flaps. And also if you put flaps down, there's also a little vibration in the stick, which you can adjust since we're using telemetry force feedback. Now what I've noticed with the FC3 modules is that you want to use the telemetry force feedback since direct input makes it really highly resistant, so like you can barely move the stick around and it just doesn't make sense and doesn't feel realistic at all. That's probably due to DCS not actually modeling force feedback on the FC3 aircraft. So let's test out some weapons here. I think we have a couple of bombs, so we're going to try to drop those here. Not all over a civilian area, we can try to drop them in the water so we don't kill anyone. Try this first. Alright. And there's two big jolts, as you can see, both in game as well as with the stick when we release the bombs. Big splashes in the water? Yes. Alright, and there's also gun effects. So if we push forward here, this is actually max forward for the MiG. And take down some thrust here. Now if we fire the gun, as you can see, it also pushes the stick forward, which makes the aircraft tilt forward, which might be realistic, but I'm not sure. But there's like big vibrations, as you can see. Okay, we ran out of ammo there. But that's also quite cool, and this you can turn this on or off. Is it realistic for the aircraft? I'm not sure. This is the aspect of the whole base software effects that this is what you turn on. This is where the realism kind of takes a turn. If you want those effects, you can turn them on, but will it be realistic? I'm not 100% sure for each aircraft. For the aircraft like the A-10, which I think the gun is very big, and it does bring through the whole vibrations through the aircraft, I think it makes sense. But for an aircraft like this, maybe it's a little bit too much, but you can turn it down. You don't have to leave it as high of a setting. Now, also what I wanted to try was low speed here, because apparently now we can also have some low speed effects, like vibrations in the cockpit. So I'll try to lose speed here. The cockpit is vibrating, and the stick starts to vibrate as well, as you can see. If we try to make low speed turns, maybe a little bit too much, not really how much the actual plane is vibrating. But you can also adjust this. Since this is an aircraft without actual force feedback modeled, you're kind of doing this yourself. You can adjust settings, each setting for each aircraft. There also should be an overspeed setting, but I'm not 100% sure for the MiG speed. You have to set it again manually. Alright, now let's get into something, probably the A-10. Okay, now we are in the A-10. First things first, what I want to try was to put down flaps. Yeah, and you can feel the flaps effect there. It's very cool. Is it realistic? Again, I'm not sure, because this is also one of those effects that you can adjust and turn off. So it's up to you if you want that or not. But it's cool that you can turn it on or off. So let's take off in the A-10. I think it will feel in general very similar. So actually, what I forgot to do, I'm going to change the preset to an A10. Since the A10C2 preset also uses telemetry, I'm going to set it to that, since I think that's going to be more realistic for the A-10A as well, because they're very similar aircraft, right? And it also has different speed settings for the AOA and stuff, for those effects. So we're off the ground here, putting gear up. Again, effects in the stick, vibrations when you're putting up the gear, and also flaps. And boom. And we can try out some weapons. I've loaded the A10 up with extra weapons. So we can try out some rockets here. Let's try to get a little bit higher. We're going quite slow, that's probably why we're getting all the warnings. But if we go like this, as you can see, the stick was again vibrating. Which in this case, I think this is the most unrealistic part, because for rockets, I feel like there shouldn't be that kind of effect. I don't think we would feel it as much. Now, let's test out the next weapon, Mavericks. We're just gonna walk onto something, yeah, just a piece of ground there. If we launch those off the rail, it's just a little jolt. Now, I think the jolt's a little bit... it's a little bit too big of a jolt, if I'm honest. Again, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't know. And again, there's another jolt. And we still have some bombs. We're going to try to drop those bombs as well. Just in the water right here. And again, just a big jolt. So for FC3 aircraft, it's going to be very similar, but for each FC3 aircraft, you can make your own preset to adjust the amount of effects per aircraft. So for example, the gun. For the A10, gun vibration effects, I think, make a lot of sense. Like so. So while the force feedback base might not be very unique for each aircraft, you can set up your own presets to get a pretty good experience with each of them. If you'd like to see more AB9 tests, then check out this playlist. Alright, that's it from me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!